Hello everyone, it's FoxA again, and today I'm back doing the defense side of the tier list that I posted last week. I'm literally filming this the same day, so I don't want to see anybody say like, "Oh, same shirt for a week."
Do you smell it?
Let's get into it with a Rooney. I'm gonna put a Rooney at C. I think a Rooney's she's all right, I guess. She's I want to say middle of the pack. Her gadget is good. It kind of blocks doors, kind of like a barbed wire would, but you know, if someone just burns it with a flash, they can run through it. But the fact that you can turn them back on, that's what makes a Rooney so strong. And she would be higher up on the list if they didn't nerf the Roni. The Roni's probably the worst gun in the game right now. So you kind of have to use the DMR on her, and you have to play a different type of way that you're normally used to playing when you would have the Roni. So this DMR is still good, but again, it's a DMR, and you know, I'd rather have a Roni with the 1.5. So going to the next op, we got Bandit. I'd probably put Bandit at D tier. I think he's got a good gun. He's got a C4, which is great. But you know, with Mav, ever since Mav came out, Bandit was kind of like, you know, iffy because he can just completely stop the whole Bandit trick. If you ban Mav in comp play, sometimes players or teams will run Bandit, but at the same time, Kaid really does his job better, and he can get hatches. And then, you know, if you're going to run something on the wall and you have Kaid for hatches, you can honestly just run Mute, because Mute brings 4 mutes that can mute 2 walls, you know, per 1 mute. So, and he brings a shotgun. So Mute really does what he does better. I feel like Bandit's kind of in a rough spot right now. Takes him, you know, too long, and he's stuck to put his Bandit charge on a wall. Bandit tricking has kind of faded a little bit out of the scene, but you know, he's not a bad op. He's still a fun op to play. Castle, I'd put Castle at C. I think the addition of his 4th Castle charge is really good. He's actually still a pretty strong op. I think the ump for him and Pulse both need to get buffed. I think the 1.5 solid on him. He brings a shotgun, you know, bulletproof or proxy. But I think his biggest weakness is the castles. You know, they don't really do too much. You know, if you put them in 2 exposed places, teams can just sledge them or breach charge them, and then that's a waste of castles. You really want to make people waste nades, waste gons, waste Sophia charge, Ash charges, you know, to get these castles. So if you're just putting castles in very exposed spots, then chances are it's kind of a waste of an op. You should just run something else, but he's still really good. Especially situationally, some maps you have to waste a utility on him, and I think that's where, you know, he is strongest, like maps like Cafe. But aside from that, I'd say he's a very middle of the tier op. Cav, I put Cav at F. You know, Cav is her main goal is to just sneak away from Jackal. That's pretty much what she is. She's literally an operator to hide from Jackal. Clash, I want to put Clash at F tier, but I might put her at D, and then we'll see how it goes. I think she provides, you know, a different type of siege. She stalls. When she first came out, she was actually pretty good. She stalls a lot of pushes. She kind of relies or acts as a kind of like a human shield. She is pretty useful in certain positions when you have like teammates playing around you or playing off of you. But I would argue that there's not much play with her because of how counterable she is and how people really aren't scared of her anymore. You know, if she's slowing you, you just walk out of the radius or throw nades or utility to deal with her, or you just go somewhere else. And especially in the meta, the aggressive meta that we're in today, at the end of the day, I think a lot of teams would rather opt out of a clash and have another gun that's able to shoot. Her secondary is kind of whack. Prior video I did, I also talked about how buffing her SMG9 her SMG would buff not only Callie but her and create both of those operators having more play. So I still would like to see that for Clash, but as of now, she's probably going to be tier op. We'll next put Duck. I'll put Duck at C. I think Duck is pretty cool. You know, he has the 1.5, which is an amazing sight, especially on his gun. You know, he's a little bit of beefier build. He can res himself and also res teammates and just give them health. So I would say in a game like Siege, where every little bit of health matters, I put Doc at C. Then we'll move Echo. Um, I'm starting to sense a pattern. I'd probably put Echo at C. Uh, I don't think he. We'll see. I might put Echo at B. He brings a shield. His gun is a 1.5. He's got his two Echo drones that can be kind of used as cameras, and they can also be used to stop plants. A lot of teams don't really use him to stop plants nowadays, or attacking teams will pay attention to Echoes a lot more. Teams are using the Echo more aggressively, right, off of as a moving drone, like a Mozzie drone or a Mozzie hack drone, and trying to get info with them and use them more on the aggression than they are in sight. So I actually think for that I'll put him B. Next up, I will put Ella in. I'll probably put Ella in C. In C, in B. I'll put Ella B. The thing with Ella is her gadget, in my opinion, is one of the strongest gadgets in the game. You can put it above a doorway or under a hatch or in a tight little corner, and as soon as someone walks by it, boom. It's anybody in its radius, so whoever is triggering it is instantly getting hit by the Ella, and anybody in that radius that is next to the person who triggered it are also getting hit. And not only does it concuss you immediately, it kind of leaves like a little blind effect in the first second, and then it concusses you. Can't hear anything. And usually teams or players will play off of that Ella. So once you get hit by the Ella, chances are you're dead, because you're so clusterfucked that you can't react off of someone swinging you or fighting you off of an Ella trigger. So I'd say her gadget is amazing. Her guns, on the other hand, are kind of bad, and I don't want to see nobody say like, "Oh, the shotgun's crazy." Like, no, the shotgun is mid. Her Scorpion, her Evo Scorpion, her gun, that gun is mid too. It has a little too much recoil. She does bring a good shield. I'd say her gadget being used by other operators is amazing, but Ella as an operator and as a whole, her guns are kind of average. But the fact that her gadget's so strong and she has a shield, and her gun close range is pretty decent, especially the shotgun. So I'll put her in B. Frost, I'll put Frost in. I kind of want to put Frost in B. I'll be honest. I'll put Frost in C though. I think her guns kind of are her weakness. Frost traps, actually get a good amount of trap kills in competitive play. I actually saw something recently saying that in ranked, Frost has the most amount of traps in like diamond to champion ranked. So obviously, at another step ahead in pro league, I think Frost is able, if you're a smart Frost player, you're able to catch a lot of players off guard or catch a lot of teams off guard. So I actually think Frost is good. She brings a bulletproof for her shield. Usually you're going to use the shield with her, and her secondary shotgun is good for opening up the site. But I'll probably leave her at C just because her guns are they're kind of meh. I could see her being at B because of everything altogether. But at the end of the day, you can shoot her Frost. I think C is a good spot for her. Now, the big question for this next season that's coming out after the Goyo rework, where will Goyo be placed? And I'll be honest, I can't put him S yet because I have to see where he is, but how Goyo is currently. So currently he has 4 canisters. You can place them anywhere mostly, and every time you pop one, it has 20 seconds. So whenever this video goes up, if they have nerfed him in any way from when it goes out, then this sucks. But from knowing what the TTS is giving me, and off of the 4 canisters, 20 seconds each, that's 80 seconds total of flames in one spot. Even 20 seconds in one spot when time's dwindling down can literally ruin a round, and it kills someone so fast going through it. If someone sprints through the fire, it leaves them with maybe one hit, like 20 HP, like one bullet will kill them. So that, and he brings a C4. His gun is still pretty good. I like the Vector, high rate of fire gun. So I'd put him at A. Kaid's next up. Honestly, I might move him down from here, but I think Kaid is a S tier op. I'll be honest. I think his AUG with the 1.5 is amazing. I think his C4, that's really good, and his Kaid adds a new element of the game that a lot of older Siege players, didn't have to experience. I'm talking about it like he hasn't been out for like 3 years. But he adds a different element of a round where he can Kaid and Electroclaw hatches above. He can get 2 to 3 walls that are close together, and he's able to get them from a floor below or a floor above, or from a wall, to the left or to the right. The Kaid can be anywhere. So it challenges attacking teams to have to be active, looking for this Kaid to get it off these walls. Always kind of wondering, is it downstairs? Is it above? Is it right in the middle? Who knows? So the fact that his ability is so versatile in the place that you can put it, wall denial is always going to be a big thing. He does the Bandit's job better than Bandit does. And like I said, the versatility, his amazing gun, and the utility he brings, I think right now I'm gonna put him at S, and we'll see how we go from Kapkan. I would probably put Kapkan at D. I think he's very situational. I'm not a fan of his gun, or his gun options. He brings a C4, which is good. Does he bring a C4? I actually don't know if he lost it to impacts, but either a C4 or even with his gadget or his utility, his gadgets are very situational. People actually pay more attention to Kapkans than they do a frost trap. So next we'll put Jaeger. I'd probably put Jaeger at A. I don't know if I want to put him at S, mainly because his gun's still good, but it's not the best. The ADS scoping time is kind of like slow. That's the only thing that bothers me about Jaeger. His recoil isn't that bad. He brings decent utility. I'm pretty sure it's bulletproof barb. And his ADS is, again, one of the core utility of Siege. And yeah, he's always going to be really good, and probably picked all the time, especially since a lot of people rather ban Y. Lesion, I'd probably slot. I want to put him C. I feel like he's kind of slept on. I feel like Lesion is slept on. I think Lesion is one of the highest skill gap operators right now in the game, mainly because you can throw them in different areas of a map, especially if you're roaming or if you're holding near sight, and you don't have to necessarily use them to do damage or to get kills, but you're playing Lesion more or less to hold a big area of the map as info. So the biggest thing as a roamer that everyone hates is you have an attacker that just crouch walks through somewhere, shoots you in the back, shoots you in the side, and then you lost all this position you have for your team. But when you're playing Lesion, you can kind of move up slowly, get these little breadcrumb of info, breadcrumbs of positioning, and throw your Lesion traps to kind of lock off an area. And you're like, okay, well, I've cleared this room. I'm gonna put a Lesion trap here. So if I hear someone hit it, then I know someone's probably in that room, or I've lost control of that room. But if no one's hit it, then that room's probably clear. So there's ways you can counterplay on attack. I just think that intellectually, Lesion has a high skill gap, but at the end of the day, you can just throw his traps anywhere on the floor, anywhere you want, and it'll still get the job done, and you don't have to be a savant to play Lesion. So, but I think there's a lot of potential of what you can do with Lesion. Next we have Maestro. So Maestro, I kind of want to put him at C2, but I'll put him at B. If Echo's there, I guess Maestro's there. Maestro has a really strong gun, does a lot of damage, has a lot of ammo, not that much recoil. The only issue with it is it lacks the 1.5 that Echo has, and I'm pretty sure all the old Siege players will remember ACOG Maestro and probably don't want that back. So I'm okay with where he is now. The only thing with him that I think kind of sucks is his ADS speed. Like you can't really go for aggressive plays and pull your gun up and fight someone too quickly or quick enough. You kind of have to be already aimed in, fighting people off of certain angles. So his mobility and the play that you can do with him is limited, but where he lacks in that, he brings the info that is so crucial to his kit. So the two Maestro cams, amazing pieces of utility because they not only give you info, but everyone knows you can zap with them and do some damage. So taking out drones, attacker utility, even stopping a plant in certain clutch situations. And it's better than a bulletproof because it's interactive. So as an attacking team or as an attacking player, you can't really just kind of ignore them. You have to deal with them in most situations, at least punch the glass, but then you can open them and still get shot by them. You have to do something about the Maestros most of the time, or else it'll be a lot harder for you to win an attack. So for that, I'd probably put Maestro at B. And then next up, we got Melusi. Now, Melusi, before the TTS came out in the prior seasons, I would probably put Melusi as A because her gadget is probably like a must pick. You know, it's way better than Barb. You can put them in these certain spots, and then you can play off of them better than you can with Barb because they give you a big beacon of indication. Hey, somebody's in my radius. You know, the giant wub, the wub sounds. So, but after the TTS, with how fast the cocoon of her banshees open up, I actually will put her down to C. I don't think she will be played as much as she once was because of how fast her cocoon opens. Again, this is based off of what the TTS showed me, so if 2 weeks from now or a week from now when this video goes up, it's changed or it didn't go with the nerf or they reverted or whatever, then I apologize. But for right now, with how she is in TTS, I would probably put her at C because it's so easy to now shoot her gadgets. You know, you walk in, your teammate instantly can shoot it, or you walk in and you can instantly shoot it, and now you have a lot more positioning or ability to shoot it and then instantly react off of the shot to someone who's going to swing you, right? Or someone who's going to, you know, try to play off of the Melusi. This is a lot better things that you can do. Her gun was never that great. And the gadget she brings, that I'm pretty sure it's impact bulletproof. You know, they're decent pieces of utility, but I think she'll actually be played a little less. So I'll probably have her at C now because of how fast you can clear her banshees. She's still going to be good, but you just have to be a lot more smart, a lot more careful, I guess, about where you put the banshees. So, you know, I might move her up to B, but I think I'm going to leave her at C for now. And now with the Mira, I'm putting Mira at S. Like, Mira is literally one of the strongest operators on defense. Literally a one-way Mira, you can see through it, and they can't do anything about it unless they get close enough to punch your Mira, which if they're close enough to punch your Mira, probably was an ass Mira placement in the first place. You can pop the Mira and make plays off of it. You can pretty much literally take your own fight whenever you are comfortable to take the fight against someone in front of your Mira, and they have to get your wall to pretty much to get rid of it. Even if they break the Mira, it's still a wall. You know. Now for the Mozzie, I'd probably put Mozzie at B. Now mute. I'm gonna put mute at A. Oryx. You know, people might get annoyed by me. I kind of want to put Oryx at B. But then like people will say like, oh, you got a Rooney, you got Lesion, you got Melusi at C. So I might move these later, but I think Oryx just adds a different way to play the game with the fact that you can jump up hatches. You can make plays that you wouldn't normally be able to make plays on. Let's put Pulse at C, because Pulse, listen, people who followed me for a while, you guys know I'm one of the OG like Pulse players. Red dot, angled grip, long barrel. Even with the new sights, I'm probably gonna stick to that. It's just the best combo for the ump in my opinion. Now I feel a little left out. Why did Castle get a 1.5 and they couldn't hook Pulse up with a 1.5? You know, they're doing my boy dirty. Like, the scanner, the ability is good. It's a very situational and adapting ability, which is why I like it so much. You're able to do so much with it and kind of use it on the fly, use it in anywhere, and it's really a high skill ceiling operator in my opinion because of how you use the scanner and how you use it to get advantages on the roam or advantages in sight, or you know, how you play off of it. I think it's really good. Again, his biggest downfall is that ump. That ump is, you know, a lot of people think that that shit is ass. I like the ump, but still, you know, even though I'm a fan of the ump, it could definitely use a buff. I will not say no to a buff. Right under him, I'm gonna be placing Rook. I'm gonna put him in D just because, you know, he has the 2x, which is the only defender with the 2x, if I'm not mistaken, at least on like a rifle, because Doc is a little more slim. He can also res himself, you know, and heal himself in the fight, in combat. And people rather have that security of healing yourself specifically rather than healing or giving the whole team health and a little protection with the Rook. But next, on the other side of the spectrum, I'm going to put Smoke. I'm going to put Smoke at S. I think this next season or soon, you know, Smoke's probably going to get a nerf here or there, but he's one of the remaining members that's able to have a shield. And his ability is so good. The fact that he has his smoke canisters to stall time, kind of like Goyo, but you can put them wherever you want, whenever you want, pop them, wherever you want. Um, yeah, so it stalls, it does damage, it does its job. A lot of teams love this smoke. It's the original, a plant denial. Makes things extremely hard to actually get a plant off when you in certain positions with a good smoke player by it. Amazing SMG, everybody loves the SMG. The good shotgun for rotates, kind of like Mute's kit. All around, he is a perfect operator, and he brings a shield. Tachanka. I'm sorry. I think Tachanka is horseshit. I think this guy's terrible. His gadget is, his gadget's cool, I guess. It's kind of very average, at least in my opinion. Next up is Thorn. Thorn, an operator that hasn't been played in competitive play yet. She's going to be allowed for this next season. So we'll have to see how she develops as an operator. Off of first glance, I'd probably put her at B. She brings a shield. She has an amazing gun. In my opinion, I think the gun's amazing. And her gadget, you can't think of it as a Ella trap because teams can run by it or run past it. And immediately, like, it's not going to go off immediately like an Ella trap. So sometimes you can actually die because you think you'll hear the Thorn trap go off and you'll be like, oh, he's by the door. But there's actually a little second delay from when it gets triggered to when it'll pop. So don't trust them as Ella traps. You want to use Thorn more as a entry denial, entry pressure area. Putting it next to a door or under a hatch in areas where teams are forced to drop down, right? So if you're dropping down a hatch to get into a site, or you're going through a door to get to the site, as soon as the attacking team makes that push, boom, it gets tripped. They have to make the decision, all right, are we going to back up and give up that position? Are we going to push through and potentially get Thorn trapped or swung by a defender? Are we going to turn and throw and shoot the Thorn and potentially die to the back? There's just a lot of things that Thorn forces attacking teams to do, but in very situational spots. And again, like I said, she brings a shield. So the shield, again, is like gold right now in the next couple of seasons. Or at least the next season, in my opinion, because of how limited they are. So for that, I'm going to put her at B. And her gun's amazing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm biased just because I really like her gun. So Thunderbird, I'm going to put at B as well. Again, really great gun. C4, C4 impacts, I believe. They're also good. And her ability is better than Doc. 3 Kona stations. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if there's 2Ks or Kona stations. It stims everybody up. The great part about it that you don't get to use too often, but the fact that you can pick yourself up or teammates up just by going to it and it stims you up, that is insane. The fact that you can do that is kind of insane. Next up is Valk. I'm going to put her one above. I'm going to put her in A. The nerf just came out where once you throw a chem outside the map, it takes 10 seconds and then it goes offline. So you can still use Valcams for immediate outside information or immediate outside plays, like jumping out off of a camera, whatever the case may be. But the strength of Valk is the fact that you can put these Valcams anywhere in the map. Anywhere in these little corners, in these little holes. You don't even have to play off of the visuals. You can just play off of the sound. So you can deadass hide these cameras somewhere that no one will ever find and just play it off of sound alone. So for that, she is an A operator. Her gun, the gun's not the best thing in the world, but it's still pretty good. Now, for Alibi, I don't know. I really want to put Alibi on D. I feel like she's such a terrible op. Next up is Wamai. I love Wamai. Wamai is an S tier op through and through. I think Wamai has 2 great guns, the AUG or the MP5 with the 1.5. 1.5 is amazing. He brings impacts and or proxies. So, the gadgets aren't the best thing in the world, but you can use impacts for a lot of these positions that you're hard holding to impact trick or, get utility with or make rotates with later in the roam. Wamai is a very good flex operator or flex, like a third roamer, like a lurker in a way. Now, for Warden, I'm going to put Warden at D. I don't have anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with Warden, really. I don't know how you would buff or nerf him. I think his glasses, his gadget, does exactly what it needs to do. You know, it sees through smokes, it eats flash grenades. Yeah. And finally, for the last op, we got Vigil. And Vigil. I've been pretty petty when it comes to the S and A tier ops. So I kind of want to put him at B, kind of as a roamer, but I feel like I want to put him. I feel like I want to put him at A. We'll see if anything switches when I go through the last view of it, but we'll put him at A. I think Vigil creates kind of this a weird realm for attackers. You know, if the scanner's up and if you're playing the Vigil scanner in interesting spots, it can stall the attacking team out pretty decently well. He has an amazing gun. His utility is good, bulletproof for impacts. You're always going to use the impacts usually. Not always, but if you're roaming, the impacts give you a lot more mobility throughout the map, and you can use that Vigil scanner a lot more. Some things that people don't understand with Vigil is they think that, oh, I'm only going to ever use my scanner when I'm getting pushed by a drone or something. But no, you should be spamming your scanner every time it's on full bar, because when your scanner's up, the drones on wherever they're coming from all around the map, top floor, bottom floor, wherever it may be, they're hearing that scanner go off. They're hearing the static, and that's the greatest strength of Vigil. You could be on a floor below, and you could be stalling the guy droning upstairs because he's scared. I don't know where Vigil is. I see the scanner. I don't know where he is. So you can, good players will be able to understand where Vigil might be playing, and a good Vigil might be able to use that scanner trick to their advantage. But I don't know. I mean, he's got a great gun, and he's a good roamer, and if you want to stall time, usually you're going to run a Vigil because he's really good at stalling that time. But, kind of the same argument that I use for Thunderbird is he really doesn't bring anything to the table, and he doesn't make attackers change the way they're going to play or the layout of the map, but he kind of slows down their approach. But he doesn't bring that kind of utility that the other ops in S and A do, so I'm going to bump him down to B. And with this, we finalize our defensive lineup, our defensive tier list. So let's run through what we think is accurate. So F tier, Cav, Tachanka, perfect. Those guys are definitely F tier. All right, D tier, Bandit, Clash, Kapkan, Rook, Warden. I think Warden, Rook are definitely D. Kapkan is D. Bandit's D. I will move Clash down to F. I think Clash is in a rough spot right now. She'll probably never get play, or she won't get that much play. But I think situationally, she is pretty decent. But in the meta we're in, I just think she's an F tier op. So she's down to F. I love playing Clash. I hope they really buff her. But right now she's F. And then for D, I think D is locked in. For C, we have Aruni, Castle, Doc, Frost, Lesion, Oryx, Pulse, Alibi, and Melusi. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to leave it like this because I haven't been convinced. Like, the whole time I was doing this tier list, I was like, she's not B, but she's not C. I don't know. I'll leave Melusi at C. I think with the change that's going to be coming out with her Cocoon on her Banshee opening up faster, I think she'll be played less. I think she's still a great op. You still slow down a lot of positions, and if you play off of them and put them in better spots, she's still great. But now, the original fear with Melusi, where you walk into her slow, you immediately want to walk out because you don't have enough time to shoot or react off of the slow and then react to someone else. But now with her change, I think she'll really easy to react to. You walk in, instantly shoot the Cocoon, and now you can start playing again. So I think she'll still be used very well, but for now I'm going to put her in C based off of the info that I've seen so far. So see how it plays out. And then, let's check out B. So we got Echo, Ella, Maestro, Mozzie, Thorn, Thunderbird, and then Vigil. So I think that's a good B lineup. Yeah, I think this is a little more utility heavy of an operators and more versatile operators. I feel like Aruni is so close to being a B op. I feel like Oryx could be a B op too. Those three, maybe even Alibi could be a B op. I I don't know. Can Alibi be a B op? If I don't put Melusi up there, I can't put Alibi up there. So I'm gonna leave them like this at C. And then for A, we have Goyo. Again, remember, in 2 weeks from now, if the changes are different, then, you know, this tier list is chalk. This position for Goyo is chalk, but we'll see. Right now, Goyo is definitely A. Jaeger, Mute, and then Valk. I think it's a good A lineup. I wouldn't put any of these ops. I wouldn't put any of them in A, probably. Yeah, I wouldn't put them in A. And then S, really the top operators right now on defense. Blank and Kaid, Mira, Smoke, and then Womai. Yes, I definitely would have this list exactly how it is. Again, like I said, there's some operators in C that it could go up. There's definitely some operators in C that could also go down. You know, I definitely filled up the C line a little bit. I really wanted to keep S and A peak, like in peak operators that I think are the best right now. And yeah, I think I did a good list. So yeah, with that, you know, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you watching the Defender one. If you guys haven't watched the Attacker one that was posted last week, you guys should definitely check that one out. And I hope you guys like these kind of videos. Again, feel free to give me any type of information or adjustments or anything you would change, you know, who would go up, who would go down on these type of tier lists, and any type of future ideas that you want to see me do. I appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the love. I'm sorry. I think Tachanka is horseshit.